Hey guys, it's me, Dr. Zelina. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues. My phone is heating up a little bit. I already closed out all the apps, but IG happens a very just powerful app. It's draining a lot of my phone, so I apologize for that. But we're back.
Mhm.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, is the audio okay?
Yeah, it's way better.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry, my phone got really hot and just shut down for a minute, but I put it in front of the fan and pretty good now. I took the phone case off, so that should help as well. So I apologize for all of that, but I hope that we're good now and we'll be good till the end of the um, show. So just to recap really quick, again, I'm Dr. Zelina with Acuvida Acupuncture. This is Conversations to Empower, a live IG live series every Monday where I dedicate these conversations to uplift, inspire, and empower you all. I want to be sharing information that's going to make you feel like you have some power and control. And we will never be giving you information to cause fear. We want to actually do the opposite. So today I'm interviewing Zelina, who's from Portland, Oregon. She was diagnosed May 5th with COVID-19. Her symptoms were very minimal. She actually thought she just had allergies because she has a history of allergies. She just had some sneezing and some sinus congestion. Her sister works at the ICU in the hospital, so she was exposed, and that is how she contracted COVID-19. Her sister tested positive, but um, Zelina did not think that she had it because she felt fine. As she progressed, I think 2 days later after you were diagnosed, she had a little bit of a dry cough. She had some headache and some fatigue, but other than that, she hasn't had really too hard of a time. Is that right, Zelina?
Yes.
Okay. And then I was asking her how they diagnosed her. She did the drive up diagnosis where they swab you. She got her results 3 days later. She still didn't think she was going to be positive, so it was a surprise for her. But what was the other thing we talked about? Oh, and then we asked how she was treating it at home. Um, so she's a student, she's a biology major. She has an interest in health and wellness because of her own health journey. And a lot of this information that she gathered was from her own self dependent studies on natural healing. And so tell me, what were the top three supplements that you mentioned that you were treating yourself with?
Vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc.
Vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, guys.
Yeah.
And I've often posted about these vitamins and how amazing they are for boosting your immune system.
hmm
And I believe, so tell me about your diet prior to all of this. Did you mention that you were going raw vegan before?
Yeah, so since like September of 2019, I slowly started to transition to vegan, um, and gluten-free and like soy-free and all these other things. But I would like fall on and off the train because
Mm-hmm.
it's a big lifestyle change. But as soon as my sister was diagnosed, something clicked in me. I'm like, okay, like so I went raw vegan. And me and my sisters kind of joke about it that it kind of became kind of like a science experiment because I eat raw vegan and like super clean and organic. My younger sister is the one that like never drinks water, always eats McDonald's, and like complete opposite of me. And my older sister's kind of in the middle. So symptom wise, I had the least symptoms, and my little sister had the worst symptoms.
What were her
Um,
symptoms?
so my both of my sisters had explosive diarrhea. They lost their sense of taste and smell.
Oh,
They had a cough, shortness of breath, wheezing. My little sister, her wheezing became so bad that she was in the hospital for a week, because she always had like a rapid heartbeat since she was born. So the shortness of breath was making her heart beat faster. And she was like constipated for like 3 4 days. They were vomiting everything they ate. Like they couldn't keep food down. But like my mom, they were in isolation at my parents' house, like in an they have like a studio apartment that's a separate building. My mom, she's just like me. That's kind of where I get it from. My mom, she'd be bringing them teas, like leaving them out like in their window, and they would like come out and like grab them. And my older sister would take them, and my younger sister would always reject them.
Oh no.
And so like my little sister was just like eating Buster's barbecue and like living her best life, but she's the one that got sick the worst because her diet was like the standard American diet. She wasn't drinking water, she wasn't taking supplements, she wasn't taking any like herbal teas or anything to treat it. She was just kind of letting it manifest.
So even as she was getting sick, she continued to eat the same way. She didn't change what she was doing, and she wasn't taking any of the herbal remedies that your mom made for you guys.
No,
Why?
because that's how she is, bien terca.
Oh my gosh, terca means stubborn, guys.
Yes.
Que terca, that's right. And how old is she? What is her
She's
age?
21.
And you're 27, you said?
I'm 25, and my older
20.
sister's 27.
Oh, your older sister's 27. Okay.
Yeah.
And so your youngest sister is the one with the worst diet. You're in the middle, and you have the best diet. And your older sister's kind of in the middle as far as diet goes.
Yes.
And how are they feeling right now? So you're you're more or less better. You just have fatigue.
Yes.
Is that right? And how are your sisters doing?
My younger sister's back home now. She's out of the hospital. She's still
She's in the hospital.
She was in the hospital for a week.
Due to COVID?
Yes, because her respiratory symptoms got so bad that it started to make her heart tachycardic.
Oh no.
She was born with heart problems as it is. So that's like an underlying disease health issue that she had.
Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that.
But she's back home. She just their appetite is back. Their sense of smell and taste is still kind of wonky. But my younger sister still continues to be constipated.
Oh no.
But they're doing a lot better. Both of them, it's just very minor stuff and just like the fatigue. But yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. And it's such another testament as far as like how you and your sisters are coping with the virus, how it's manifested, and based on your guys's health choices and really food choices is what it comes down to.
Yes. I think
what
our
about
mind also had a big part in it because I was like the one that when it happened, I was like, okay, time to like be proactive, stay positive, and do everything I can. And like I was like, okay, it's like a spiritual lesson. I'm gonna get out of this. I already know, and like that's kind of my attitude about it.
Yeah.
And my youngest sister was the one that, she worked in the ICU, so she got to see like all the patients that were in their 80s that handle it like worse, which makes sense because they're older. So
right.
She was a lot more scared of it, and I was like the opposite. That I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like the flu, like. So just like our mentality had a big part in our recovery as well because I was the one that stayed like positive and optimistic. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
I couldn't hear you.
Oh no, you can't
Now
hear
I
me?
can.
Okay. The
Now I
video
can.
paused for a second, but we're back. Okay, great.
Okay.
Is there a delay? Is there a delay? I think there's
a
a
little
delay.
bit, but it's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm so glad that you brought up the comparison between you and your sisters because that makes a lot of sense. That if there's fear, number one, number two, if there's poor food choices, and then obviously three, the underlying health condition, there is a poor diagnosis and there is a higher risk for complication. However, you also have some underlying health conditions.
Yes.
So that also makes you a little bit susceptible, but because of your positive mindset Number one,
Mm-hmm.
you're not living in fear. You're actually empowered because you're following all these different accounts that are helping to give you health information.
Mm-hmm.
And you've taken it upon yourself to research a lot of different things. You read peer-reviewed articles, so you have information that's making you feel empowered, so you're not living in fear of the
Mm-hmm.
unknown. However, secondly, because you have these underlying health conditions, you've already been proactive with your health. You're eating well. You were going primarily plant-based, and then you went raw vegan when your sister got diagnosed. So you're already kind of ahead of the game, so that your body's able to take this in a little bit better, in the sense that it's not going to really bring you down. I mean, like you mentioned, it feels like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what this virus is. It's similar to the flu virus, according to the new data that's been out there, that's been published, or not published, but that's been shared, because this new data is so new. I mean, the coronavirus, COVID-19, is so new that we don't have a lot of data, but there is some data out there that is comparing it very much to the flu.
Yeah.
um, and people do unfortunately die from the flu, just like people are unfortunately dying from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
uh, but as far as I know, a couple weeks ago, the number of deaths from COVID-19 was below 1% for the
Yeah.
state of California.
Yeah.
uh, I think it's pretty similar for the country. And as
Mm-hmm.
far as I know, from the data that I was shared, that was shared with me from a few weeks ago, the recovery rate is over 97%.
Yes.
Um, but again, it comes down to food choices, healthy lifestyles, and all of that. So, I want to use this information that Zelina is sharing with us to, again, really encourage you all. Now is the time to boost your immune system, because if
Yes.
you do catch COVID-19, you can be like Selena and be fine, have a little headache and fatigue, take a lot of vitamin C and D and zinc, and be fine. Or you can be like Selena's sister and be afraid, and have more complications from it. I hope that you choose the former and not the latter, and that you do empower yourself, make those healthy food choices, live that healthy lifestyle. And so, really quick, I just want to share some tips that I know, and then Selena can also share some of the tips that you have for us, as far
Mm-hmm.
as empowering and boosting your immunity. So as far as your immune system, vitamin C, vitamin D, and vitamin zinc are your power immune boosters, as well as elderberry, as well as turmeric. So
Yes.
turmeric can be taken daily in supplement form. I highly recommend turmeric. It's one of my favorite superstar supplements. I take it every day. Sometimes, so I do a capsule once a day, very high quality liposomal capsule. And then I do the turmeric tonic, which is a beverage that involves powdered turmeric. I do that about 3 times a day, sometimes just once or twice, depending how I'm feeling. I actually love the taste, so it's good. Elderberry, you can take when you're feeling the onset of symptoms. You don't have to take it
Mm-hmm.
daily, or you can take it when you're around someone that's sick, even if it's just a common cold or something more simple. You can take elderberry at that time. It's not necessary to take elderberry every day, just when you're feeling the onset of symptoms. Vitamin C can be taken daily. 1 gram is good for prevention. 2 to 4 grams is good if you are feeling sick. Vitamin D is good daily. I mean, you can get your sunshine. If you need to supplement, I believe about 2,000 to 5,000 IU's is okay for prevention. You
Mm-hmm.
up the dose when you feel like you're getting sick. And then zinc can be taken daily as well. Zinc is it's good, like 15, 20, 30 milligrams. It just depends. I actually recommend this CalMag zinc supplement to my patients, that has a variety of these these minerals that are really good and enriching for the body. um what else? Oh, and then as far as food wise, definitely try to lean more primarily plant based, which is what Selena's been doing, and which is why she's recovering so well from COVID-19 without any complications. is
Mhm.
because her diet is primarily plant-based. It was primarily plant-based, and then she went all in raw vegan, which is
Mhm.
amazing when you need to detox your body. When I
Yes.
had lupus, I went raw vegan for about 2 years when I first had lupus in 2007. And I was raw vegan for 2 years, and then eventually it was just vegan, and then eventually it was vegetarian, and then eventually I started incorporating other foods, including animal proteins, into my diet because I am a fitness fanatic, so I needed more of that protein. Um, what else? Do you do any mind body techniques that have helped you throughout this process?
Yes, I think that was like the biggest thing. I meditate a lot. Also, I did Organic Olivia a while back had posted about filling up a bucket with pink Himalayan salt and lavender. So I've been doing foot baths. I've been doing a lot of Epsom salt baths, dry brushing a lot to move my lymphatic system, and meditation. I do yoga whenever I feel like I have the energy, but I haven't wanted to like exhaust my body because I know it's
Oh,
going through a lot.
yeah.
But yes, I think that is like the part that made me be able to like mentally be grounded through this whole experience.
Okay, that's great. So just to recap, mind body techniques that you're using are the foot soaks,
Mm-hmm.
lavender and salt foot soaks. You're doing those how often?
Like every 3 days. I like to take baths more because I like to lay down instead of like sit in them. Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Okay, so the foot soaks, and then you're doing meditation,
Hmm.
yoga. How often are you doing meditation?
Meditation. I meditate every morning when I wake up.
How long?
Like 20 to 30 minutes. If I need like
How long?
to ground myself, I'll meditate more, but I make sure I do it in the morning.
Okay, good. And then for yoga, how often are you doing that? I know you're tired, so you're not doing it every day. Would you say it's like
Yeah.
every
Yoga. I think I've done it like twice a week.
twice a week? Okay. And then how long are you doing your yoga sessions?
It's like 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Oh, that's good. Wow. That's a long time
Yeah.
then. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really, really great. So, just to recap, you were diagnosed May 5th positive. Your
Hmm.
symptoms have been uh, sneezy. They started off sneezy, sinus congestion, then a dry cough for a little bit. That didn't last very long. Then a headache
Hmm.
that also didn't last very long. And then fatigue. That's kind of
Yeah.
lasted a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. That's all you have is fatigue.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Lastly, have you been retested ever since you got tested?
Yes. So I got retested on Thursday. I was gonna wait till yet tomorrow because it'd be 3 weeks. But I think I kind of got antsy because my older sister got retested. Um, and so my older sister test because both of us we have to test negative twice to return to work. Um,
Mm,
so she her first test came back negative, and then she got tested the next day, and it was positive. So that was interesting. And for me, I tested last Thursday, and I tested positive, but I didn't. My results take longer because I'm not a frontline worker like her. So I am gonna give it a few more days and then get tested again because compared to how tired I was and everything before, I know that I'm kind of like towards the end of it. Um,
okay.
and I've heard most people take about 3 weeks. Um, so yeah, but I'm not too worried about it. It's just my body telling me I need a little bit more rest.
So as of tomorrow, it will be exactly 3 weeks since you were diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your sister tested negative and then she tested positive.
Yes.
How is the second test being administered? Is it the same way as the first with the
So for
swab?
some reason they switched it, and her testing was strictly through the nose, and she would get she had to wait. She did them 24 hours apart, And for
Mhm.
me, when I went the second time, they told me that because I'm not a healthcare worker, they were going to do it through the throat.
A swab on the throat?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting. I question those, you know.
Yes, me too, because I was like, what?
Hmm. Um, is there anybody in your area or any place in your area that's performing the prick test where they prick the fingertip and place the blood on a cassette where you find out the antibody, if you have the antibodies, if you're positive and if you're negative? Is anybody in your area offering that test?
I had not that I heard of. And also my first test was done at a different lab than my second test, which I thought was interesting
Hmm.
because the first lab was taking too long. And so they ended up sending it to a different lab for my second test. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting things to note, and
Yeah.
always important to question, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, one thing I did forget to mention now that I remember, my nephew was with fevers for 2 days in the very beginning.
mhm.
And we thought that he might have COVID because he sleeps with his mom, and his mom is my older sister. And he ended up having just some other kind of virus, and he had fever for 2 days, and then the third day he went back to normal. So if children are experiencing symptoms, there's also other viruses that could be what's causing them to get sick. And obviously they have a stronger immune system.
Was he tested for COVID as well?
Hmm.
And he
Yeah.
was negative,
Hmm.
but he
Yeah.
was positive for a different virus?
Yeah.
Interesting. And how
Yeah.
old is he?
He's 5.
He's 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a 2-year-old daughter. So I always wonder also what is going on with the kids, because I know that there's been some spikes in Kawasaki disease and other rare illnesses, childhood
Hmm.
illnesses, since
Hmm.
COVID-19. So it's possible that there may be some kind of um, outbreak of childhood diseases when children are exposed to someone with COVID. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Because
just
he was in
something I.
isolation with my older sister for a day
Mm,
because we thought, okay, he has fever. He definitely has COVID. And then when he got his test results and he was negative, that's when they switched my two sisters to the other building, and
mhm.
my little nephew isolated with my parents. Um,
Okay.
but my nephew and both my parents did not get COVID.
Okay. So it was just you and your sisters.
Hmm.
And then your two sisters work in the hospital or just one of them?
My older sister works at a pulmonary and lung clinic, and my younger sister works in the ICU.
Okay. And where do you work?
I work with the unaccompanied minors that come from Mexico and Central America to the border. Um, and I am their medical service coordinator while they're in our care, figuring out their legal proceedings. I'm in charge of all their medical needs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be such a tough job.
Yeah, it's rewarding though.
Wow. That's crazy. But that's amazing, that work that you're doing.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate that you can't work now because I'm sure those kids really need you.
Well, before I had COVID, we had already transitioned to living from home, working from home. So I
Okay.
was thankful because I didn't expose anybody at my work,
Oh,
because it had been almost 2 weeks since I had been in the office.
yeah.
And even now, I want to be extra cautious, and I'll just continue working from home for a while, um, just to make sure.
Right, 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 right.
Mhm.
And so you got, what were the guidelines that they told you, that you had to test negative twice before you can go back to work? Is that what they told your sisters as well?
Yes, yeah. I think
Okay.
because I work for the government and my sisters work in the front lines. Um, One of my other cousins got COVID as well, and she recovered, and they didn't ask her to test again. They just told her that she needed to isolate for an additional 72 hours after her symptoms cleared, and then she was good to go, which we
Okay.
thought was interesting. So every employer kind of has a different protocol.
Right. And things are always changing as
Hmm.
well. because one thing to note that you mentioned is you were tested the first time positive May 5th. It's been 3 weeks. You tested positive. In the beginning, we thought that the incubation period was 14 days, and that after 14 days, you were not um, contagious anymore.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're noticing that as the situation evolves, things continue to change and those figures continue to change. Um, and they change amongst people. Again, this strain of this virus is very new, it's very different, it's very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, of course, its origin is debatable and it's controversial
Yes.
because of how it behaves in the human body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is why there's so much, you know, uncertainty around all of this. I don't want to encourage anyone to be afraid.
Yeah.
um, I want to encourage you all to continue to empower yourselves, continue to build yourselves up, not just physically but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because I think what Zelina is doing is very brave, very important, very courageous. She's taken it upon herself to find ways to heal herself naturally. She's been proactive since September, and then once her sister got diagnosed, she's like, I'm gonna be proactive. I'm gonna go raw vegan, even though I haven't been tested yet. I'm just gonna, you know, make sure, take extra precaution to keep my
Mm-hmm.
body healthy and strong. She's meditating every day, which is great. I do it every day as well. She's doing yoga when she has the energy. She's taking her detox foot soaks as well as baths. She's eating well, primarily plant based still. Are you doing raw
Mm-hmm.
vegan still?
I started to incorporate steamed veggies last night,
Oh, good.
but I'm still eating fat free because I want to give my liver a little bit of a boost to be able to
Yeah,
clear everything out.
good. The traditional medicine doctor in me says that cooked is better, but I understand
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to do things differently depending on the circumstances. So raw vegan is definitely helpful. Um, a lot of the raw vegan diets are encouraged for cancer patients, like particularly in Gershon therapy. They do recommend a lot of juicing, which is
Mm-hmm.
something my dad did when he beat his cancer last year, or has it been 2 years now? Not keeping track. But yeah, I mean, primarily plant based is the way to go. You get the most nutrients. Remember, our bodies are made to connect with nature. And so plants come from nature. That is why it's a lock and key mechanism. The plants know what to do in our bodies and they keep our bodies healthy and strong. They boost our immune system. Fear does not boost the immune system, it actually shuts down the immune system. Laughter does boost the immune system. So try to find humor in anything you can find today and every day. Um, Zelina, you froze on me. Can you still hear me? Are you still there, Zelina? Can you guys still hear me? Is there still audio there? Hi guys, can you guys for right now, but for a couple minutes. But I mean, so far so good. I think what Zelina is doing is amazing. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Thank you for the feedback. What she's doing is amazing. It's incredible. I feel like she's so brave. She's so smart. She's so intelligent, and she's so in tune with her body. She's so in tune with her body that she knows what it needs. Um, and I don't know if all of you guys heard the comparison between her and her sisters. So she has two other sisters that were diagnosed positive with COVID-19. One of her sisters is younger than her. She's in her early 20s. She works in the ICU, the hospital, and she has the standard American diet. She eats a lot of fast food, doesn't drink a lot of water, doesn't stay hydrated. And then, Zelina's kind of the opposite. Zelina has a very healthy diet. She was going primarily plant based, and she's had a much more positive outcome from COVID-19. She's had very minimal symptoms. She did not have any complications. Her sister did have complications. Unfortunately, she did end up in the ICU for about a week. Um, and so there's that difference, and we have that comparison. Hi, Zelina, welcome back. We lost you for a minute, but glad you're here. So I was just recapping what we talked about as far as uh, the differences between you and your sisters and how the COVID-19 has played out for the three of you, mainly you and your youngest sister, where the differences are so contrasted. Um, but is there any closing thoughts, any advice you want to give to anybody that maybe has COVID-19 or thinks they have it?
Um, Something that also my sisters decided not to tell anybody that they had COVID. I think because they had a lot of like shame,
Okay.
and I was the opposite. I like made it public because I was like the activist in me was like, I have it. This is like my experience, and I just wanted to empower people to be proactive. Um, and I think the last thing I want to mention is if you have it, be okay with not like blaming yourself. Like things just happen. You never know. And not feeling shame for it and not feeling guilt because we're in the middle of a pandemic. You could have got it at the grocery store. You could have got it wherever. I'm thankful that I know the source. But even then, I didn't have any resentment that, like, oh, my sister gave it to me because they messed up at her work and she was exposed. Like, I didn't want to be in that mindset. I just wanted to accept what was happening and then, keep a positive attitude about it. But I think that's the hardest part about having COVID is emotionally you feel like, oh, like how am I gonna react when people know that I have it? And when I go back into society, like are people like I still wonder how it's gonna be when I go back and people are gonna be like, oh, get away from me, you have COVID or whatever. But yeah, that's I think my last message.
That's great. And I think you're absolutely right. Anybody can get it at any time. And I think the most important thing is to have have a positive attitude and have a plan. What are you going to do? How are you going to treat it? Um, there's so much information out there and lots of resources out there that, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, being ignorant is a choice at this point. We live in an age of information where we can Google so many different things. And there's so many traditional medicine doctors, natural medicine doctors like myself who are sharing this information. So if any of you guys are having difficulties health wise, if you feel like you have COVID-19, it is not a death sentence. You guys can definitely recover, as is the case with a lot of chronic diseases and a lot of other illnesses as well. There's a lot of resources out there for you guys. And thank you so much for sharing with us, Zelina. Like, you're so brave and amazing for going through this, being proactive, boosting your health, boosting your immunity, keeping a positive attitude, despite your sister. I mean, if your sister's in a negative space, I'm sure it's going to be challenging for you to not be in that negative space with her.
Mm-hmm.
So bravo for you uh, to you for being able to keep those boundaries and keeping your positive attitude and keeping your body and health, high and vibrating high. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you again so much for sharing. And if any of you guys have any questions on anything that we shared today, feel free to send me a DM. Zelina, do you want to share anything? Like, are you available if somebody has a question?
Well, I just wanted to thank you because finding you was really awesome and you continue to inspire and empower me. Um, and creating just a space where I can be my authentic self, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, and if people want to reach out, of course, because I reached out to other people that had COVID and they helped me. So I am more than happy to point out whatever I can do to help. Of course, you should try to work with the practitioner and whatnot, but even if just to like emotionally deal with it and have somebody that can relate, sure.
Yay, awesome, perfect. So yeah, if any of you guys have COVID-19 or think you have COVID-19, definitely get tested first, or definitely reach out to your healthcare provider before going into any clinic. If you end up positive and you need some help, some support, I'm here to help guide you through that process. Um, and as Zelina mentioned, if you need some emotional support, she's here as well. Maybe starting a COVID support group. Hey.
I heard there's a Facebook group, but I never like joined it because
Oh, I'm sure there is.
yeah.
Well, thank you again, Zelina. And it is my honor and pleasure that you feel that I've been able to inspire and empower you. That is why I'm here, and that is why I do this work. Not because I'm a con artist or because I'm trying to get rich, which was what somebody commented on one of my posts recently.
No, it's not cheap to go to med school.
I know, right? It's not cheap to go to med school, and you don't get filthy rich by being an acupuncturist, that's for sure. But again, thank you so much. I'm so happy that we were able to chat. I'm so happy that we shared and got this information out there. Hopefully, I'm able to download and upload this video to YouTube so that it's available for other people to watch in the future. And again, if any of you guys have questions, need some support, feel free to reach out via DM. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'd love to check in with you again in a few weeks to see how you're doing, Zelina, if you'd like.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, let's check in a few weeks. Maybe we'll have you back on Conversations to Empower again so we can just check in and see how you're doing.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, guys. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Get some sunshine. Eat some good, yummy food. And get in those bath soaks. All right.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, guys.